Hey guys, it's
Welcome to Olivia being the judges. Flip that freaking booty hole. Just joking.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
The following presentation is intended for immature audiences.
Recorded in front of a live studio audience.
Stay tuned. The stream is about to begin.
Hi guys, I'm Lex.
And I'm Liv.
And today
We'll be the judges. What?
it fell down.
Oh no.
Our vines.
Just don't pay attention to it.
No, I need to fix it.
You're everything. No, I'm gonna wait for you. You're everything I want, but I can do with all your. Oh, yeah, I'm not sitting here at all. You can just step right on my headphones. Just like, don't worry about me. Oh my God, there's a meow. Are you done?
Brother, does it look like I'm done?
Clearly, no, judging by the fact that you're still standing on me. Thank you.
Okay, guys, don't fret. She's fixed.
I'll tell you, boom. Few times been around that track, but it's not just gonna happen like that, 'cause I ain't no hollering back girl. I ain't no hollering back girl. Why is there gum on the floor?
I don't think that's gum.
No, that's gum.
I don't know.
No, that's gum.
I don't really know.
Alright, try.
That's it.
Okay, I have to pull it up. Okay, I pull up.
How about at the after party?
Where are you? You and all your friends, yeah, you love to get naughty.
A year ago today, me and Liv had our first deep conversation. I sat on the couch and she yelled at me for 3 hours, basically. Moral of the story. All right.
Because I'm cool. Like that.
Right.
Okay. Soon as I step in the club, show some love. Okay. Here I go. So this is about like the women thing, because after we did it last week, I was like, oh, I have more to say. So I'm just going to add it on to this one so that you can appreciate it. A woman gets paid 83 cents for every man's dollar. So a woman can work just as long, but still get paid less. A woman is supposed to work a full day of work. Come home, clean, cook, and she's not allowed to complain about it. We get looked down on, judging by what gender you were born as. Women are told what we can and cannot do with our own bodies. If you show too much, you're a slut. But if you cover up, then you're boring. You can't show that you care, because then you're needy. But if you don't, how is he supposed to know? You can't be mean, because then you're a bitch. But you can't not say anything, because then you just let people use you. You can't have sex because you're a hoe. But if you don't, you're boring. Whether you say yes or no, it might happen anyway. No matter your age, you will always be looked and seen as nothing less than an object. At a young age, you're taught that if a boy or man is being touchy or rude, oh my gosh, he just likes you, calm down. Well, come on, what were you wearing? Was I wearing a yes on my shirt? I didn't think so. Personally, I was wearing a princess dress, glitter leggings, a princess top, or shorts and a t-shirt. Is that what you wanted to hear? Was that too showy? I was told I was bossy for wanting to be team captain, and the boys were told that they were leaders and taking initiative. Why was I told that I was this bad thing, but the boys were praised? And of course I asked my mom, and she said, that's just the way the world treats. And I said, why do I get looked down on when I can do just as much and better? And she said, it's just the way it is. So I spent the rest of my life wondering why. And I understood throughout history, a man worked, made the money. They went to war. They protected. And the woman stayed home and cleaned and cooked and take care of the kids while he was out cheating on his wife. And I grew up and thought, well, that's not going to happen to me. I don't want that. We are told not to stand up because no one will listen. Well, Maria Curie, renowned chemist and physicist, made groundbreaking recoveries in radioactivity, paving the way for enhancements in medicine and science. Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat on the bus, which sparked the Montgomery bus boycott and a pivotal moment in civil rights. Women had also made significant strides in politics as well. Shirley Chisholm was the first African-American woman to be elected into Congress. Hillary Clinton was the first woman to be nominated for president by a major party. Grace Hopper was named a computer after she was one of the first computer programmers to work at Harvard. And those are just a few. And I still ask myself, why am I looked down on and why am I less than? Period.
That's fire.
Thank you.
That's good. All right, so what we're going to talk about today is something that goes along with us so
You're
much.
everything I want, but I can't deal with all your lovers.
This goes with us a lot. The butterfly effect.
Yeah.
We are the butterfly effect, and we are the
He wants a nunu.
hidden strings. That's us.
Oh my god. Ash Trevino's falling off and we didn't even do an episode on her. We're slacking.
Okay, you want to do that for next week?
No.
Okay.
She got bed bugs though. She ain't got beds for her kids. No.
All right, you ready?
Year.
Okay, so what is the butterfly effect, you may ask?
Do I get to read something or do I just sit here and pretend I'm listening?
You can read something.
Okay. Can you not make it long?
It's not. I'm only reading the stuff that's bolded.
Oh, okay. I'm just saying because sometimes I feel like it gets boring.
I know. Okay, so what is the butterfly effect, you may ask? So it is actually
Oh, wait, I'm going to interrupt you. The first one that we did on educational, I was sitting there and I was like, actually, I can't watch this anymore. I'm so bored.
Thank you.
I just thought I'd tell you.
Thanks.
You're welcome. I think it was just because I didn't know what we were talking about, so you had to go in more detail than normal. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I can't hear them.
I can.
Did not fear.
Okay,
I want to hear.
so the butterfly effect. Oh, just put my other ear in. Oh.
Put my other ear in. Nobody pray for me. If you don't do for me.
Well, yeah.
I remember served sandwiches and clamor sandwiches.
Oh.
There's multiple.
Wow.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay, ready? So the butterfly theory, it comes from the chaos theory.
Okay.
So basically the chaos theory is like, this is like an actual theory, like mathematical theory, that unpredictable systems also follow kind of the pattern of nature.
Okay.
So like kind of everything in some way follows the idea of there's having rules, there's a way things behave normally, and there's a way things normally go.
Mm-hmm.
Which is how you can predict stuff. So basically, the butterfly effect describes how a tiny change in the initial stage of a system can cause huge, non-linear consequences elsewhere over time. So, like, one small thing
Sorry, it was
that
gross.
is changed in, like, the
A
very...
short amount of time. Or a long amount of time.
Well, no, one thing is changed in the very beginning of something,
Oh, okay.
which causes the domino effect of this to this to this. No. No. So, like, an example is if I never went on the trip.
Oh, yes.
If I didn't go on the trip to
Yes.
Universal.
Yes,
If
yes.
you didn't come over that night. Like, little things like that, we wouldn't be as close as we are.
Right. It's the series of events that happened.
Right.
Okay.
So, this effect thing came up by a mathematician and a meteorologist. His name was Edward Lorenz.
The fuck is meteorologist doing here? They got nothing to do with weather.
I don't know. Well, it originally was a theory that was metaphorically from suggesting that the flap of a butterfly's wing in one corner of the world could cause a tornado somewhere else weeks later.
Why are they blaming butterflies for tornadoes?
No, that's kind of how it started. It was a metaphor.
Oh, okay.
It
Got
was
it.
a metaphor.
Okay.
Okay.
It clicked.
So, if you think about minute. If you think about small details of your life, you may be able to see how a small event was actually the catalyst for a huge change in your life, which is
Bonkers.
That's us.
Right.
That's how we became friends.
Right.
So the butterfly effect is a property of our incredibly complex, deeply interconnected world, such as one small occurrence can influence a much larger complex system. The effect is named after an allegory in chaos theory. It evokes the idea that a small butterfly flapping its wings could hypothetically cause a typhoon.
Typhoon?
Typhoon. Or it could not. The mind-boggling part of the butterfly effect is that it's
I think that's
virtually
an Italian word. Typhoon.
it's virtually impossible to predict whether a small system will lead to chaotic behavior.
Right.
That's why it could or could not. So an accurate version. Why'd you just mute yourself?
I muted myself because like you're picking up on mine.
It doesn't matter. It sounds the same.
Oh, okay.
So a more accurate. You don't need to do that. It doesn't do anything different. Okay. A more accurate version explains the small changes in one part of the interconnected system can cause disproportionately large outcomes elsewhere, setting off a chain of events that can lead to an unpredictable result. The butterfly metaphor was initially used to illustrate how seemingly inconsensual? No, but it's not consent. Inconsensual? There's a Q. Inconsequable? It looks like insequential. Insequential. Insequential.
Yeah, you're right. Insequential.
Insequential changes.
Insequential.
In the starting conditions of a weather model can result in significant differences in the outcome. The realization underscored the difficulty of making predictions in a complex system like weather. So this started from, I wish I could be a weatherman because they are the one person in the world. They're the one job that gets paid to be wrong.
A weatherman?
Yes. They're wrong. Most of the time.
Yeah, that's true. They are wrong a lot.
And they're still getting paid just as much.
No, a lot.
Yeah.
Weathermen get paid a lot of money.
But that's kind of what it's saying, that one little thing in the difference at the starting could then affect how the outcome looks or like what they think the outcome might be.
That's crazy. Weathermen literally get paid to be wrong.
Correct.
All the time.
Correct. Yeah.
Not fair.
No. So today, the butterfly effect is widely referenced outside the context of weather. It's now more broadly to refer to situations where small changes could lead to a large consequence, though it is sometimes incorrectly used to state that small changes can lead to predictable consequences. So they're saying there's no way to predict it. Like, the butterfly effect isn't saying this is going to happen because this happened, because this has happened before.
Right.
It's saying this could happen because, or this happened because this happened, but it hit this, and this.
Right.
It's like going through that part. So, the history of it. So, the earliest utterance relating to the butterfly effect seem to have come from the historical proverb "for want of a nail," first recorded in the 13th century didactic. It's
If you can't pronounce it, you probably don't know what it means.
Some
either.
poet named Frederick. Hundreds of years later, Benjamin Franklin popularized.
Where the fuck is Franklin coming from?
A rhyming
Ben,
version
what are you
of it.
doing here?
So this is what it says. For want of a nail, the shoe was lost. For want of a shoe, the horse was lost. For want of a horse, the rider was lost. For want of the rider, the battle was lost. For want of the battle, the kingdom was lost. And all for the want of the horseshoe nail.
Sorry,
But like, it makes sense. They didn't have the nail to put the shoe on the horse.
Right.
Which means the horse doesn't have a shoe. Means you don't have a horse. which means you're out of battle, which means your kingdom's done. When all
Which
you
means
wanted,
you're going on a rider.
and all you wanted was a nail for the horseshoe.
And all you were fucking looking for was a nail.
Yep. So, this is kind of illustrating the fundamental idea of the butterfly effect, that seemingly inconsequential events could set off a chain of events with unpredictable consequences.
Right.
Missing a single nail in a horseshoe might not change everything, but it also could indirectly result in the fall of an entire kingdom.
Right.
Either way, it's impossible
To know.
It's impossible to predict the specific series of events that would lead to such an outcome.
Right. Like, that's the same thing when, like, you're submitting a test. And, like, you're like, oh, I nailed that. Like,
Right.
Bitch, I got that shit. Like, and then you get it back and you're like, ooh, whoopsie. It's, like, kind of the same with that. Like, you go in so confident, you get it back and you're like, that one hurt a little. That one stung. It hit home.
Yeah. Kind of, yeah. So then this kind of, where it all started with Mr. Lorenzo, Edward Lorenzo, was in 1960s.
Edward.
He worked in the MIT Department of Meteorology, clearly,
Isn't
using...
there a King Edward?
I don't know. No? King Frederick?
No, there was a King Edward.
Probably, in something. But he was using a simple computer model to simulate weather patterns. And at the time, weather was mostly predictable using linear models, but Lorenzo was interested in an emerging school of dynamic meteorology that acknowledged that weather patterns were much more complex than originally thought, which clearly brother was on the path to something, because they are. What's wrong with you? I saw that. And he found that the mathematical linear models did not provide accurate predictions. Clearly, because look at our fucking things. And he clearly didn't do much, because they still don't figure it out now.
So what the fuck was the point of him?
I don't know. This was 80 years ago. Come on, guys. Pick up the pace.
Come
No, it
on.
was 60 years ago.
Get out your telephone or something.
So he decided to rerun
They have phone
the...
60. When was the phone created?
Like 2000 something.
That was an iPhone.
Oh, 1999.
No, a telegraph was created in like World War One.
Okay, well, okay. So Lorenzo decided to rerun a computation to examine it more closely. He manually entered a line of numbers. So when he was doing this computation, whatever the fuck it's called, he manually entered a line of numbers that the computer had printed earlier, but he rounded the values off to the third decimal place. So such a small thing, like you round something, you don't really expect it to change much. Can you stop?
Right. See, that's why math is fucking stupid.
Right. But, however, he was surprised to find that the results from the repeated simulation was entirely different than the previous one. By
Right, because he's
rounding.
a dumbass and he did it wrong.
No, he was proving that such a little change, like rounding to the third decimal place,
Will change the entire...
can change the whole outcome.
Right.
So then in 1963, Lorenzo published a paper with the idea, with these ideals. Stop.
I'm sorry.
Titled Deterministic Non-Periodic Flow.
Right.
In this paper, he essentially...
Period flow? Or periodic?
Periodic flow.
Okay, I did not hear periodic.
In this paper, he essentially argued that weather predictions are inaccurate, not only because knowing the precise starting conditions is impossible, but a tiny degree of change can significantly throw off the results.
That was a little bit of a personal question there. Can't believe we talked about my period.
The paper was scientific and jargon heavy,
Yeah, jargon, it's pretty heavy, right?
which led to Lorenzo to start using a more palatable concept during talks and interviews, the poetic butterfly effect. He linked his findings to the idea that a butterfly's wing flapping represents the tiny change in an atmospheric condition that would have the potential to alter the trajectory. So he said that it didn't necessarily have to change the events, but it could. And there was no way to predict if a small part was like the innocent butterfly is a symbol of the unknown factor. So saying the butterfly is something so small that you don't know if that little gust of wind that their little wings make could change a whole way that a tornado or something is forming.
Poor butterflies. They didn't ask for this.
So this is coming from the butterfly theory is off of the chaos theory, which the chaos theory is specifically interested in studying random or unpredictable behavior. So it uses the deterministic laws, which are supposed to remove any randomness as determination in a physiological sense, and is the idea that previous existing causes completely determine all events. So basically saying that it's removing the randomness and it's showing you. Okay. So the impact of the butterfly effect, it describes how very small things can have a great impact, which means you can't ignore the little things, because then it slowly will start to be not so small and it'll grow bigger and bigger. What are you doing?
I wanted to click back on the thing, but
So when he discussed his findings, it had a significant impact on the way people understood scientific predictions. Up until this point, science had used linear deterministic models that assumed that it was an easy trace to the path between a cause A and an effect B. So kind of A plus B equals C. And that was kind of the only way it went.
right.
But this was showing that A to C could use B, but you could go A to B and you could get to D. Like, that you could go different ways with it.
Mhm.
So, this was a generally held belief that scientists need not worry about minute details externally to the phenomenon that was being studied, because it would have no impact on the relationship between A and B. The butterfly effect demonstrated that cause and effect do not have a purely linear relationship and do not exist independently to other things happening externally, making it difficult to accurately make predictions. So this discovery changed how scientists approach predictions, especially in meteorology.
Right.
So there are only 2 parts of this actually left. So in business and marketing, the butterfly effect has consequences that fall out of science as well. So it's studied in business and marketing because of how small initial actions can yield a great reward in the future. But it also demonstrates the challenge of predicting and shaping these outcomes. So like one small day of having a lot of customers can
Make
up your business like crazy.
Yeah.
Those are like the little things like that. For example, think about the fact that Apple often only introduces small technological upgrades between their phone models, but still each time they release a new model, the devices often fly off the shelves because of their
They
name.
literally could look the exact same. Mine, like from like iPhone 11 to 15, they all look the same.
But because of the name and because it's a better model,
It's really the insides that change, and even then, it's like not really that
much.
much.
Or it's like the camera, which that I understand more, but
But that's like the 16. Like the camera's changed in the 16,
Yeah.
not the fit compared to the 6. Yeah, no.
So, the butterfly effect also indicates the actions of an individual can have a far-reaching ramifications for a wider population. It challenges the ideas that our individual actions have no broader impact. Just think about how much a political leader's actions impact the state of the world.
Right.
So, that's kind of saying they're making one small decision, or they're making one decision for themselves. And that's affecting how many other people. So the butterfly effect asks us to be thoughtful with our decisions because we never know what come of them.
Sorry.
And it's also incredibly motivating, suggesting that our actions do matter in altering the trajectory of the world, no matter how small they might be. So saying that, people saying, oh, it's just one small thing, I'm not going to do that. It's not going to make a difference. It is going to make a difference. So it also defects that while a small action like choosing to use a reusable straw may not have a linear effect on carbon emission, it could still have a trajectory of climate change in some way. This perspective can encourage us to live our lives more mindfully for our potential impact on the world as a society.
Right.
But now the butterfly effect is more
Changing.
a metaphor in like pop culture. And it came from a movie that first started. It was called Havana. There wasn't much really on it, but it's just that. And then In 2004, the movie The Butterfly Effect is what really catalyzed it. So that movie combines the concept with basic time traveling machines, allowing the main characters to travel back in time to make tiny changes that drastically alter the present. Both of the films...
Isn't that, a girl did that too. Was that the one where her mom's, like, in high school, and then she goes back in time to fix it because her mom's friend got murdered, and the murderer came back to kill her mom?
Maybe.
I don't know. I saw a TikTok clip.
Maybe. So both of the films appear to mischaracterize the butterfly effect by suggesting that it can be predicted, calculated, and controlled. This is common in media portrayals of the effect, where the concept is often used more as a metaphor rather than an accurate scientific explanation.
Right.
So while the butterfly effect is widely referred in both science context and popular media, it has sparked several debates over its interpretations and implications. It is sometimes debated whether the popular understanding of the butterfly effect is accurate. When people use the term, they often refer to the idea that tiny things inherently cause big consequences. But this interpretation is diverging from the original concept that complex systems are unpredictable because they are extremely sensitive with changes. So all of these things, there's a nice little book. It's called The Team of Teams: New Rules of the Engagement for a Complex World.
Whoa.
And this book suggests that the butterfly effect does not describe the ability for a small thing to leverage to manipulate greater effects. This is because a key point of Lorenz's theory is that things cannot be predicted by their initial conditions. Although small things can have a large impact, it is difficult, if not impossible, to accurately predict the relationship between smaller actions and effects. As we have mentioned, the butterfly effect does not mean the small things will necessarily lead to larger consequences, but the equality could or could not.
Basically saying that if you change one minor thing, something dramatic could happen,
But it also could not.
not necessarily saying it's going to, but small things have changed things in the future many times to where you can't just let it go. But also small things have not changed stuff in the future. And some people and some things, the small change can be a big thing, or it could be a little thing, and just depends on the person or the thing.
So the last part is, can a butterfly really cause a tornado? Now here's the real question. Can a distant butterfly really cause a tornado in another part of the world? To address this controversy, it's important to note that there are two kinds of butterfly effects.
How is that a controversy?
I don't know.
A tiny little butterfly, I don't think, can cause an earthquake.
Mm.
Or not an earthquake, a tornado.
The first, known as sensitive dependence on initial conditions, refers to Lorenz's original findings that small initial changes can lead to significant differences in chaotic systems. This classical butterfly effect is widely recognized and has been demonstrated time and time again by modeling tools. Debates on the butterfly effect mostly center around the second type, the ability of small pre-turbulations, like the flap of a butterfly wings, to have large, far-reaching consequences like a tornado. In reality, studies suggest that this phenomenon is unlikely to occur in a real atmosphere. According to researchers Bon Wen-shen, Roger Pickleser, and Xbin Zhang, the tiny air disturbance caused by a butterfly's wings are simply too small to have any impact on large-scale atmospheric conditions. So no, a butterfly cannot cause a tornado,
Good to know.
but it could probably help.
Maybe.
Probably.
Sorry.
Probably
could help.
That's it. All right. Hope you enjoyed this one. We will see you guys here next week.
We were the judges.
Nope.
No. You're right, no. No! I just got up and walked away. Just joking. You can get us on Spotify or anywhere you get your podcast.
Today we were the judges.
And you just got served.